we're going to have conflict. You no longer have a cooperative, even an attempt at a cooperative world order. Things like the World Health Organization, the World Trade Organization, all of those are obsolete. And so we're going to have, again, might is right. And so it's going to be a period of greater conflict. You're going to have a technology war. You can have increased military spending in this kind of environment. That creates a budget issue. And climate will have, it will be an economic issue as well as a environmental issue. So these things, these expenses are going to go up.
David Schwartz had a really interesting post a few days back, and I was reading it today, and it really got me thinking. Someone asked him, how long will Bitcoin be number one? And he had the following to say: I tend to think 3 to 5 years, but sometimes things seem to take forever, and sometimes they change overnight. Basically insinuating you never know. Could get run down. And so it got me thinking, what is really Bitcoin solving? And it's sound money. And is sound money, is it more valuable of a use case? Is it worth more than rewiring the whole financial system if we were able to get there with XRP Ledger? And I would argue probably not. When you look at the value you could capture, the money flowing through something like that, I'm not sure having a sound money system it might be more valuable to the everyday person for freedom, but economically, is that more valuable? Probably not. And so why do we see such a huge value in Bitcoin? And then we look at Ethereum, which is worth quite a bit less, and it has a whole lot of capabilities. DeFi, NFTs, gaming. Like if you add the aggregate of all of that up, probably also would be worth more than just sound money on its own. And I think what it is this. We don't know Ethereum's going to win. Ethereum has a huge lead, but it has everyone gunning from them. From Cardano, Polkadot, Sui, Solana, you name it. Like everyone in this business that's building today is gunning for Ethereum. Might they get run down? Well, you can't say they're going to win this battle for sure, not by a country mile. When you look at Ripple and the XRP Ledger and what they're doing, there's no guarantee. There's going to be a lot of competitors. So I think you're seeing those ultimate values really get, discounted down because of the extra risk. Again, Bitcoin has no contemporary. No one's really trying to do that. I guess you could argue Litecoin or Doge, but it's likely to win its category due to no challengers, massive network, and it's kind of hard to duplicate. You'd have to have someone launch, and then they disappear into the psychosphere, and then you have no one at the center of that blockchain, and somehow it scales up to be massive. It's nigh impossible. So could something like the XRP Ledger, could Ethereum blockchain, could they, overtake Bitcoin someday? I would say yes, they could from a valuation standpoint. But again, there's just a lot of competition right now, and we really don't know within cryptocurrencies ultimately who wins these various sectors of cryptocurrencies. And so I think that's really what we're seeing at this point in time when we look at valuations. Just thought I'd give you, my idea here, but that's the way I see it. All right, we see this here. Jerome Powell, banks can't ghost crypto anymore. Bitcoin pumps 3%. Powell just made it clear. U.S. banks can't shut the door on crypto clients. He was asked at his conference there if crypto has its place. And he's like, yeah, banks, they can deal in cryptocurrencies as long as they have their safeguards in place. It's perfectly fine. Quite a different answer than we've seen in the past where they first just shoo it away, then we don't want to get involved. Like you can feel it. That switch is flipping where now this is a technology of the future. And, even the Federal Reserve has to say, yeah, banks can go ahead and jump in here and get involved. They're going to have to as we go forward. Massive for the whole industry. We see Austin King here. You can go over to my X if you didn't hear this snippet vet doing a Spaces today. He's saying, look, from the beginning, he could tell we were going to need more than one chain because all of these chains are optimized for something different. Again, Bitcoin, sound money, Ethereum, programmability, XRP Ledger, scalable transactions. And so, you got to figure out how these all fit together. But when you have the person out there that says, there's only going to be one blockchain, Bitcoin's it, or XRP is the only thing we need, you're ignoring all these other use cases within crypto. Most of the people out here understand this, but there's going to be a lot of different blockchains, and there'll be sectors of crypto that are optimized for specific use cases. And this is an adult way to think of this industry rather than, you know what, it's Bitcoin and everything else is garbage, or XRP is the chosen one and everything else is a scam. Like, no, there are real reasons to have separate blockchains because they are optimized for a very different use case, different tools for different jobs. Thought it was a great talk here by Austin King. Modern investor, just noticing something about this current cycle. The market manipulation is out of control. We should be 3x current prices with all the nonstop amazing news, and it has been literally nonstop, overwhelmingly great news. Bitcoin keeps slumping, XRP isn't pumping, and ETH isn't parabolic. Man, ETH is really asleep. I expect it to wake up here soon, though. By far, one of the worst bull runs ever. ETFs hold over 1.3 million Bitcoin and prices drop. It hasn't been a bad start for XRP. Traditionally, one that kind of waffles about early on, kind of like we're seeing out of Ethereum right now. Bitcoin's up to new all-time highs. It's not a bad start, but I would expect we got to get going here shortly. Usually, we should just really be getting hot right around April 15th, right around tax time, whatever reason that seems to be something, give or take a month. But I would expect, hopefully February, we really start cooking here. Only time will tell, but it is an odd run. And part of that has to do with a lot of the crypto space, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, took off very early because of those ETFs. Pre-halvening, we haven't really seen that before. It's definitely different, but each cycle is different. And then looking behind us, it always makes a lot of sense. Not worried at all right now. I don't know if it's market manipulation. It's just a different time, and it'll play out a little bit differently. But it's where we're headed. I think that's the same. Straight to the moon. It's going to be a big one. Just in, former SEC Chair Gary Gensler will return to his position at MIT. He will focus on teaching and conducting research on AI finance, financial technology, and public policy. This guy, this scumbag. I did see some people out there putting in complaints to MIT, stating he really should not be teaching the future of this company about technology, about crypto, about AI. And definitely the least thing he's qualified to talk about is public policy. Enough with this guy. I hope MIT changes their mind. He should not be in any sort of classroom. Update, Cardano's hard fork goes live today, transitioning to fully decentralized governance. I want to see what Cardano does this bull run. When we really get into, full crazy town, do they start pulling on some users and getting a lot of volume and making some waves? I want to see it happen. Let's hope that it does. Good morning, crypto, saying crypto markets are up 1.15 trillion since the U.S. presidential election. So, this bull run is putting on some growth. We see Bitcoin up 41%, Ethereum asleep at the wheel up 13%, XRP still on the show up 505%. And I would argue this is really us catching up. We haven't even started to put on growth just yet. We're gonna. Big news today. First, we had DeepSeek, this open source Chinese AI model where it's very comparable to the best that GPT or Anthropic has. People didn't think China would be able to do this. Surprisingly, look, they got some very smart people over there. They got a lot of money. They can make it happen. Well, today, there's a second Chinese AI that was released from Alibaba, and it's supposed to be, again, as good or better than its contemporaries from DeepSeek, GPT, Meta, all of that. What does this tell us? Because a lot of people are freaking out here. It's going to be a technology race, and we already knew that. You have these two superpowers, specifically over AI, but also blockchain in all areas of technology. We're going to be, screaming down the track here. A lot of spending, just leaning into tech. And if you're an investor in tech or cryptocurrencies or any of this stuff, I think it's going to go quite well. Big news today, Ripple put out their first attestation for RLUSD, certifying that they have the goods, that they have the backing of that stablecoin. And I saw my buddy here, Scam Detective, saying, well, Ripple's not using a top, accounting firm to do this report. Again, we see the big ones, the big four, Deloitte, PwC, Ernst & Young, KPMG. They are using, I think, BPM, which is not an accounting firm I'm familiar with, but I think they're like the 35th biggest accounting firm in the country here. I mean, they're not using some, no-name accounting firm. Like, this is a big deal. They put out that report. This isn't required at this point in time either. They're just doing this electively, getting ready for regulations in the future. I think they're doing quite well. And I suspect that this accounting firm, even though maybe us in the that aren't in this realm haven't heard of them, I bet they're quite big and did a great job. This is a big day. Glad to see it. Lastly, despite Ethereum's price stagnation, man, it really has been, active addresses have increased by 37% since November. We want to see that token take off. Whether you have it, whether you like it, whether you don't, that's going to signal it's go time for this whole space. And then you're going to see XRP actually put on growth. 505%, that's catching up. That's catching up to where we should be, and probably we should be a little bit higher. When Ethereum takes off, the space is going to wake up, and it's going to just be parabolic money making everywhere. And I think we're right there. I think it's going to happen any moment. Can't wait to see it. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here